you've got a land of Palestine populated with majority Muslim, and you want to make it a land which is a homeland for Jewish people. How do you do that?
1947, which was a year before the Israeli state came about, you went from 60,000 Jews to 630,000 Jews. Right? They now made up a third of the population, and the non-Jewish population was over 1 million. 1948 happened, or what is called as the Nakba, and that population of non-Jewish people, the Muslim population, went from over 1 million to 156,000. So we went from over 1 million people to 156,000. So as a result, the Jewish people now made up 82% of the population. So how do you take 1 million people and how do they vanish within a year? They don't just vanish. You know, this was achieved by genocide, by ethnic cleansing, by settler colonialism. There was no other way to take a population of 1 million Muslims and take it to 150,000.
I'm quite lost for words here, because that's staggering, those statistics that you've described. And I've heard this many, many times before, but every single time I hear it, it beggars belief as to how this actually happened, how this could possibly take place.
So what happened is that 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly displaced from their homes. 400 Palestinian villages were forcibly vacated, depopulated of Palestinians, so emptied. 10,000 Palestinian homes in West Jerusalem alone were occupied, and an estimated 15,000 Palestinians were killed, massacred. One such a massacre took place in the village of Deir Yassin. This was, or is, a village which is perched on a hill west of Jerusalem. And when this takeover happened, the Zionist militias, they attacked and slaughtered the people there in execution style. The villagers were either shot or burnt, and there was no discrimination between who this was done to, whether it was men, women, the children, or the elderly. And at the time, the British delegation filed a report to the UN. And I actually find this really disgusting that Britain, as we have just been hearing, the architect of this takeover, then submitted a report of what happened regarding Deir Yassin. And it took place on a Friday, actually, April the 9th, on a Jummah. Their report says the killing took place of some 250 Arabs, men, women, and children. Their report describes that their killing took place in circumstances of great savagery. The report says women and children were stripped, lined up, photographed, and then slaughtered by automatic firing. Those who were taken prisoner were treated with degrading brutality. Benny Morris, an Israeli historian, he said that the militias ransacked unscrupulously, stole money, jewels from the survivors, and burned bodies. He says that even dismemberment and rape occurred. This event was significant because as news of it spread, thousands and thousands of Palestinians actually fled their villages in fear that they would be next, that this would happen to them also. We need to understand that this was not actually a random act as a part of the takeover, or an accidental act, or some militias who acted of their own accord and just went and did their own thing. But this event was actually part of a carefully planned strategy. And that strategy was called Plan Dalit. And actually it is called Plan Dalit because, in my opinion, it's still being followed today. And that plan was to depopulate Palestine, what we would today call ethnic cleansing. And you can look up Plan Dalit. It was a blueprint used by the new Israeli army and by its militia, and it specified which Palestinian cities and towns would be targeted, and it actually gave very, very specific instructions of how to drive the people out and how to destroy those Palestinian communities. It's on the Jerusalem Media and Communications Center website, and it gives very, very specific instructions. And it says, with regards to the villages and how to clear them out, it says that the destruction of villages, specifically setting fire to them, blowing them up, planting mines in the debris, especially those population centers which are difficult to control continuously, that these are tactics that should be used, that mounting search and control operations should take place according to guidelines which are given of encircling the village and conducting a search inside it. And if any resistance is met, then the armed forces must be destroyed, and the population of these villages, the Palestinian population, must be expelled outside the borders of the state that they are creating. When you watch that movie, Farha is a glimpse into what happened to the Palestinians at the time of this takeover.